Hi friends, this is a case of a posterior polar cataract and my approach towards it. This video is meant for educational purposes. Many cases of posterior polar cataracts have a fairly soft nucleus, but this is a moderately dense cataract, and it's difficult to appreciate the posterior polar opacity under the microscope. The diagnosis was made during the slit lamp examination. It's important to differentiate posterior polar cataracts as they carry a higher risk of complications, with some studies reporting up to a 36% incidence of posterior capsular rupture. We have three main objectives in approaching this case. The first is to avoid hydrodissection but still achieve nuclear rotation. The second objective is to ensure a lower aspiration flow rate for a slower, more controlled removal of nuclear material. And the third objective is to maintain anterior chamber stability. We can achieve nuclear rotation but avoid hydrodissection in a few ways. The first that you will see here is mechanical dissection, and I do this with my second instrument. I start off grooving here. At this point, I will come out with both instruments, and now we will go to viscodissection. It's important to note that I'm not doing hydrodissection. Here we're going in with the BSS cannula and doing inside out hydrodelineation as well as regular hydrodelineation. The second objective that we mentioned is to ensure a lower aspiration flow rate, and our phaco is going to be very slow and controlled. Here I'm trying to make a deep trench to get a nice primary crack. We have a bit of a crack there. My main worry going into this case was whether the nucleus would be able to rotate, and I'm quite relieved to see that the nucleus is rotating. This is especially important for a more dense case. The rest of the nuclear material removal here now becomes more routine once we are able to remove the first fragment. We keep the phaco probe in the central safety zone and slowly remove the nuclear material. You can see here the persistent hyaloid artery. The third objective, very important to note, is that before I come out of the anterior chamber with my phaco probe, I am injecting viscoelastic into the anterior chamber. Now we can do IA, and I'm trying to keep my probe quite anterior. In these cases, I avoid touching or polishing the posterior capsule. You can remove the cortical material as well as polish the anterior capsule. Again, before coming out with my IA probe, I'm injecting cohesive viscoelastic into the anterior chamber. Here's some more before the lens is inserted. At the end of the case, for viscoelastic removal, I avoid going behind the lens. The incisions are sealed up here and the case is completed safely.